Welcome to SVR IAS Academy. ComeOnIndia.com is our website. Today's date is September 26, 2016. In this current affairs, we discussed 5 to 6 important topics which are useful for 2017 IAS examination. To read the newspaper, we provided links below the video lecture in YouTube. So click the link to read the newspaper and let's start the video lecture. Now let's discuss one important article that published in the Times of India newspaper, that is, China begins operating world's largest radio telescope. China started operating world's largest radio telescope. It is one of the important area for 2017 IAS examination. In this topic, you should know the location of world's largest radio telescope and what is the various objectives of this telescope and so on. World's largest radio telescope, remember the term radio telescope, started searching for signals from the stars and galaxies and also for extraterrestrial life. In the last 1 month, China done two important things with respect to space science. One is Tiangong 2. Tiangong 2 is also an important area for the prelims examination. It is the space station launched by China, and second is world's largest radio telescope. These are the two important developments in the space science and both are done by China. Tiangong 2 is the second space station of China. 2-3 years back, China launched Tiangong 1 successfully. In this paragraph, the two important points are there. The world's largest radio telescope is located in Guizhou province of China. In the Guizhou province of China. And another point is that before launching this telescope, the earlier record was held by Arecibo Observatory. Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. Remember where Puerto Rico is located. Take your Orient Longman Atlas and try to locate the island. The name of the telescope is FAST. FAST stands for 500 meter aperture spherical telescope. 500 meter aperture spherical telescope. The main objective of this telescope to search for the gravitational waves, to detect the radio emissions which are coming from stars and galaxies, and also to look for signs of intelligent extraterrestrial life. So each and every point is important. First, to search for the gravitational waves. Second point, to detect radio emissions from the stars and galaxies. And third, to look for the signs of intelligent extraterrestrial life. In this paragraph, you can see one important point, pulsar. What is pulsar? Pulsar is a spinning neutron star. Pulsar is a spinning neutron star. So each and every point is important for prelims. In our paid service online video lectures, we covered about pulsars in detail. So visit our website ComeOnIndia.com to get a video lecture on pulsars. So pulsar is a spinning neutron star. So to read this article, visit timesofindia.com website. The link is given below the video lecture. Now let's discuss about youth abhyas. It's important area for prelims 2017 examination. Is a Press Information Bureau website where the article is published. Youth abhyas is a joint military training. Between India and USA. Indra exercise is a joint military exercise between India and Russia. So comparison of these points will be helpful for prelims examination, where exercise youth abhyas is held. It is held in Raniket in Uttarakhand. Youth abhyas exercise started in 2004. So it is a 12th exercise. 2016 exercise was the 12th in the series of youth abhyas exercise. It was started under US Army Pacific Partnership Program. It was started under US Army Pacific Partnership Program. Exercise youth abhyas strengthens and broadens the interoperability and cooperation among the Indian and US armed forces. So prepare thoroughly on the youth abhyas 2016. To get the handwritten notes on this topic, visit our website commandindia.com. Now let's discuss another important article that was published in the Times of India newspaper about ratification of the Paris Agreement by India. Ratification of the Paris Agreement by India. To visit the link that is provided below the video lecture and click the link to read the article in Times of India website. Recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that India will ratify the Paris Agreement on the climate change on October 2nd. In this background, let's discuss the important exam points on this article. October 2nd is chosen because it marks the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. So October 2nd marks the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. On that day in 2016, India will ratify Paris Agreement on climate change. Remember, it can be asked in the examination, Paris Agreement is on what? Is on climate change. So Montreal Protocol is on ozone layer. Vienna Convention is on ozone layer. Both also came in the news. So try to remember these facts. When India ratifies the Paris Agreement, it will ensure the entry of the Paris Agreement into force. And also you might have studied about the term intended nationally determined contributions. Intended nationally determined contributions. So under this, every country is obliged to disclose how much greenhouse gas they can reduce every year under their climate action plan. India also announced its climate action plan under intended nationally determined contributions. One most important prelims point in this Paris Agreement on climate change is that when Paris Agreement will enter into force, when 55 countries ratify the Paris Agreement, first condition. Second conditions, these 55 countries should represent at least 55% of the global greenhouse gas emission. So these two conditions must be fulfilled, then only Paris Agreement will come into force. When these two conditions are fulfilled, it will take 30 days for Paris Agreement on climate change to enter into force. So don't forget two important points. 55 countries should ratify the Paris Agreement. Second condition is that 55% of the global emissions 55% of the global emissions means the countries which are ratifying the Paris Agreement must contribute at least 55% of the greenhouse gas emissions. The first condition has been already fulfilled because around 60 countries have ratified the Paris Agreement on climate change. The 60 countries includes China and USA. Both are world's top two polluters. US is the world's most polluter and second rank goes to China. So recently India also announced to ratify the Paris Agreement on climate change. India accounts for 4.1% of the global emission. So remember, India's population is about 17%, but India emits only 4.1% of the greenhouse gas emission. Once India ratifies the Paris Agreement will reach the threshold of 55%, and also 14 more countries have decided to sign and ratify the Paris Agreement in the later part of this year. So in the end of the 2016, definitely Paris Agreement on climate change will enter into force. Now let's discuss some salient points on the Paris Agreement on climate change. So the agreement calls on countries to combat the climate change and also to intensify their actions, and also they need to accelerate investment towards sustainable low carbon future, and also countries should adapt to the increasing impacts of climate change. From 2018 onwards, every 5 years once, United Nations will convene a meeting to review the progress of the Paris Agreement and to review the countries' commitments in implementing the Paris Agreement. So Paris Agreement is one of the important area for IAS examination for 2017. So prepare thoroughly on this topic. Now in this Times of India newspaper article that deals with breakthrough listen project. Breakthrough listen project is one of the important area for mains examination, and also prepare about Stephen Hawking and his contribution to the science and technology within 150 to 200 words. Because he is a great scientist, his name is coming more often, so prepare about him within 100 to 150 words or 200 words answer. The important objective of the Breakthrough Listen project to scan the nearest millions of stars for signs of life. Apart from Earth, we have millions of stars, and in these stars life is possible or not. So by using the Breakthrough Listen project, scientists will analyze these stars for the signs of life. Under this project, from the Earth we will send signals, maybe radio signal, and if life is there in any of the star, they may receive the radio signal and revert back to Earth. But Stephen Hawking warned against communicating with the aliens, because aliens may be more technologically advanced than human beings, so it may become disastrous to the Earth. So he warned against communicating with the aliens who are technologically advanced. So prepare thoroughly on the Breakthrough Listen project, 100 words answer will be sufficient. Now let's discuss one important article that is published in the Business Line newspaper. To read the newspaper, visit the link provided below the video lecture. The article deals with the oil for drugs deal. Oil for drugs deal with Venezuela. India is in talks with the Venezuela for oil for drugs deal because Venezuela is under economic crisis and is unable to pay more than 2000 crore rupees to the Indian pharma companies. So Indian government proposed oil for drugs. Venezuela is a cash-strapped nation. It is struggling to revive its economy and recently it devalued its currency several times. So it devalued its currency several times and it was unable to pay more than 2000 crore rupees to Indian pharma companies. So to recover the dues, Government of India proposed oil for drugs deal because Venezuela has huge reserves of gas and oil. If Venezuela gives oil to India, for the same value, India will give drugs to Venezuela. Is under discussion. So prepare thoroughly on the problems in the Venezuela and about India-Venezuela relations. To get the handwritten notes on this topic in the PDF format, visit our website comeonindia.com. Now another article that is published in Times of India newspaper website is about if India ratifies Paris climate deal, what it does mean to India. What are all the benefits that we will get after signing the Paris climate agreement? This is important area for mains 2016 and as well as for 2017 IAS examination. So let's discuss all the important points in this article. To read the article, visit the website link that is provided below the video lecture. The first point is that after ratifying the Paris Climate Agreement, India will get a leading role in shaping the global rules of emerging climate order. So India will play a proactive role in shaping the emerging climate order. By ratifying the agreement, India will get a seat at 55/55 conference. Is important point for the prelims examination. So India will get a seat at the 55/55 conference. It means 55 countries with 55% of the emissions ratifying the agreement will get seat in the 55/55 conference. Third important point is that climate change is becoming a new global movement. Everything, almost all sets of rules and benchmarks from energy to technology to trade are linked to climate change. So we can't stay away from this agreement. So by signing the agreement, we'll get access to the energy, technology and trade because climate change is the new global movement. Fourth important point is that if India signs the Paris Agreement on climate change, will make India and we can project ourselves as a responsible global player. So we can project India as responsible global power. Last month, an important article was published on Montreal Protocol or in the Vienna Convention, and also about ozone depleting substances. Initially, world moved from the chlorofluorocarbon to hydrochlorofluorocarbons, HCFC. Then world is moving to hydrofluorocarbons. Then finally, one day it will move to hydrocarbons. Chlorofluorocarbons, hydrofluorocarbons are patented substances. So we have to buy the substances from companies which hold the patent right. Whereas hydrocarbons does not need patent. They are patent-free substances. These substances are used as coolant in the refrigerator. If India ratifies Paris Agreement on climate change, it will get advantage in the upcoming hydrofluorocarbon negotiations in Kigali. About this negotiations we will cover later. Indian companies are already working on the patent-free solutions to the, or you can say alternative to the hydrofluorocarbons. The world is looking for alternative to the hydrofluorocarbons, which are also having the greenhouse effect. These substances, when released into the atmosphere, is responsible for climate change or global warming. Now world is looking for alternative to the hydrocarbons, and in this background Indian companies are already working on patent-free solutions to alternatives to the hydrofluorocarbons. Another benefit that India will get is, 1 year back we launched International Solar Alliance, where we are taking the leadership role. If you are not ratifying the Paris Agreement on time, our leadership will be questioned. So if we sign the Paris Agreement on climate change, we can project ourselves as a responsible global power. So these are the benefits we can get if we sign and ratify. We already signed the Paris Agreement. If we ratify the Paris Agreement, these are the benefits that we will get. So remember all the 4 to 5 points that we discussed in this video lecture. That's all about today's video lecture on various current affairs topics. Revise all the points. To get the handwritten notes for current affairs, visit our website commandindia.com or contact us via WhatsApp, and our WhatsApp number is 809 809 9922.